Oh, go live. There we go. I think we're coming in live. There's my back.
Are you live?
Yeah, we're a little behind the time though, but
I can see your back.
am I on we on the screen? Hold on. All right. Sorry guys. This is a whole new thing for me. This is actually live streamed and I seem to be cutting out. Hold on. All right. This is the first time I've actually live streamed ever for tutorial type deals. So just kind of bear with me for a second while I get everything set up. I get my little wireless lab that is not working correctly. Anyhow, kind of wait for anyone to come in. If you're in the room, make sure you chat, say hi. And this is my wife and lead singer of my band, a lot like Chandler Bing,
Hi, kids.
Alicia Perone. You're at that camera.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Anyhow, so we're gonna get started with this thing. Like I said, this is the first time we've done a live stream, kind of just see what you guys need type of deal. And so I'm just gonna start kind of going over a little bit about what I do and how you can actually build backing tracks for yourself at home if you want, or you can come over to Band Backing Tracks Custom and we can make them for you and send them over to you, and I'll just show you how to set them up. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop a line in the chat and let us know what your questions would be. I'm wondering though if anyone's watching, if the audio is all right, if you can hear everything. Lisa, did you have your ears in?
Yeah.
Are you hearing me?
Uh-huh.
Is it coming like
The
late?
video has quite a delay, but
Yeah.
if I watch the video and listen to you at the same time, I'm listening to two different things. So, oh, LV, hi.
How are you doing?
Hey, Lawrence. I think that's Lawrence.
Nice. So, and if you guys have...
Okay, good. So you can hear us.
Sweet. I'm going to play a track over here and see if you can... Let me switch over to the... Oops, wrong button. By the way, I'm using my new ATEM Mini live stream switcher. And so I'm going to play a track and see if you guys can hear it.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2,
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Can you hear that? Oh, we got a bunch of people chatting.
Yeah, Lawrence says the audio is good and there's no delay.
Okay.
So we're good. Keep going.
Sweet. All right. So if you have any questions,
Intro.
Lawrence, just pop in and have, or anyone else who's watching, and sorry, I'm actually looking at two different things at the same time. So anyhow, let's kind of get started. So I'm Victor James, of course, and I play in a band called Fans of Jimmy Century, and we own bandbackingtrackscustom.com, and we make band backing tracks. How we got involved and started doing that thing, we bring it back over to a camera. There we go. How we got involved doing this stuff is we're an electronic band, so we of course make tracks for ourselves, and we've always used Ableton, and then we started touring with bigger bands and that kind of stuff. People come up to me and say, hey, can you create band or tracks for our stuff? I love how your guys' set, because our set will run our light show and our pedal boards, and pretty much you hit go and it runs the whole show. And so people were flying me out doing that kind of thing. And then as we moved to Vegas, we had a lot of cover bands here in Vegas saying, hey, can you make cover tracks? And I was like, sure. So I kind of got into that and just kind of made simple tracks like what we sell now, so everyone can kind of get up and going on it. And so we did that, and then it just started taking off, and I started getting so many. I was like, I just need to build a website. And so that's how Band Backing Tracks Custom got started. And the reason for the long name is because of SEO, search engine optimization. But anyhow, so that's how we got started doing this thing. But now it's kind of taken off, and everyone's kind of using them. And most, I think we've never really had any complaints. Go back over to Alicia's camera. Alicia, have we? You're the one.
I have a complaint.
What's a complaint?
That you don't put salt in my coffee anymore.
Oh yeah, she don't put salt in her coffee anymore. Is your mic on? Oh yeah, it's down here. Yeah, no, they don't put salt in their coffee anymore. It's 'cause it's gross. It's gross. Salt in coffee is gross. But anyhow, so we would have a lot of good luck with it, and but a lot of times people get kind of twisted up in the operating system itself of Ableton and just kind of a little confused. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory when you get the tracks downloaded from us. If you look at the help videos on our website, and the quick start will kind of get you up and going. But I'm just gonna kind of start kind of a basic idea of what's going on, and then if you guys have any questions of where you guys are stuck, jump in. Alicia will yell at me and set me in the right direction. Now there is a delay. We're watching the live stream, and it's like a 3-minute delay from when I actually talk to when I actually look at the screen. So if you ask a question and it takes us 3 or 4 minutes or 5 minutes to get to you, it's because we answered the question 5 minutes earlier. It's like time travel, but special. So anyhow, I'm going to switch back over here to Ableton, and we find the right switch. There we go. And I'm going to just kind of go through. So this is basically how our sets are, how our Ableton tracks are set up when we send them to you. Or if you're going to create them yourself, it's a good little design layout. And the reason I just want to kind of explain the layout of here. We have a count in, which is all MIDI, right here, and that's where I basically there's a drum sampler here with all the samples.
Intro, outro, verse, chorus, pre-chorus, bridge.
And then you just play along with the song and actually just move them around to where all the samples fit, right into where the verse, pre-chorus, all that kind of stuff lie. And the second one is an audio track, which is a click, and that's when I get the stems and put them in. The click's always in audio, and some of these songs, they don't line up to the grid, meaning if you look over to your left hand or your right hand side over here in Ableton, you can see the tempo, and if I click on that, it'll change the tempo in Ableton. Right now the tempo's at 118, so if I click on this song, it'll change it to 110. And you can see how that just changed to 110. Basically, we put the tempo on the right hand side over here at the very end, so like 152 BPM. It tells Ableton to change that tempo when you click on that track. And so now my lav keeps cutting out. Anyhow, so that's why the BPM's over here. But this is right here is a MIDI click, and I have it set up the same way I have this count in set up. So right here, you can actually do a MIDI click and change the tones that you like on your MIDI on your click. That's a little more work than some of these tracks are worth, because not worth, but a little more work to some of these tracks. Some of these tracks aren't lined up on the grid. When they're lined up on the grid, it's really easy to do that. When they're not lined up the grid, because they are played with live bands, then it's a little harder. So I don't actually do that for you guys, but I can actually show you how to convert them to MIDI if you want. But so that's why I leave the click track as an audio track. But some people I do have complaints about. They don't like the way the sound of that click is. But real quick, while I'm on that subject, an easy way to fix that, if you get these tracks from us and you don't like that way that click track sounds, it's kind of a dull click. It don't bug me too much.
Intro, 2, 3.
But it does sound like someone's clicking drumsticks together. So I mean, if it does bug you or your drummer wants it changed, rather than going through and trying and making the whole click a MIDI track, you can actually just click over on the side over here and go to effects and plugin, or no, I'm sorry, audio effects, and grab like an EQ, like a EQ 8, drop it on your click, and now I'm just going to solo the click and hit play on any of these songs. You actually go through and find the frequencies you like in there. You maybe bring out your lows and your highs by just changing these to filters. And now you can just actually, if your drummer wants a higher click, you can do that, or a lower click. And where did my helper go? Anyhow, So that's one way to change the click on that. But but this is a MIDI click right here. And if you did want to actually add a MIDI in there, you could actually insert a MIDI clip, and then grab it. That way, it's basically telling Ableton to keep this track as a MIDI file, and not, because if I was to do this without adding a MIDI clip beforehand, it would, when I grab an audio file and move it over to that MIDI track, it's going to change this MIDI track to an audio track. But now I could actually grab this click, like say from, let's do 24K Magic. I'm going to get off that horrible EQ that I just put on there. And 24K Magic. Now that I click, I can actually grab this click, and if I hold down the Option key, it'll copy that clip, and I can drag it over and drop it on that MIDI, the MIDI track of the click. And you'll see right here, it asks me how I want to convert that MIDI track. If I want to convert it to either drum or harmony or melody, just click on drum, and then let Ableton convert. There she is.
Sorry.
All right, so letting Ableton convert. I might have to change my mic here in a second because this mic keeps cutting out. But let me move these maybe with a little more in line of sight. See if that works better. Well, it's taking a long time. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so now your MIDI track. Now here, if I click on that, you can see right here where it converted all that to MIDI. It doesn't do it exactly, but it gives you a good starting point. And now what you need to do is you have to move these tracks up to, here's your samples, your metronome up and metronome. So if you just basically highlight these by just grabbing your mouse here and highlighting all these like that, and then hitting the up key on your keyboard. Now if I click on this and click the solo of that, you'll hear it's kind of messed up, but it's in the right places. So now what you'd have to do is manually go down here and delete, like you can see double tracks here like that one. You don't need that one there. Then get rid of it. You know, basically you have to go through, and that's how you would actually, you can convert your audio click to a MIDI click if you wanted to be that drastic. Me personally, I wouldn't do that. I would just go with it. If it's on the grid, you can make your own MIDI track. But anyhow, do we have any questions?
Not quite yet.
All right, we have 5 people viewing. Okay, so anyhow, and then moving on, and then these are basically just all audio tracks, and they're a little mixed up. Like you can see, I have you know, guitars here and guitars here. Originally, when I started building this template, I had the vocals here, guitar, and this was your horns, keyboards, bass, percussion, drums, and then I had another track here just in case I had a loop or something like that. But then as it kind of grew, we kind of got other people who needed more guitar separation, so I added a guitar track over here, and I left it there because if you buy tracks from us and you have older tracks and you paste them in the set, that way they all line back up. You can move these around, you know, like move this guitar closer back over here. But if you do go and buy tracks from us again, you just want to make sure that you remember what the old template looked like and move that back before you paste in the new stems from us, because we'll send them to you in this format, and they won't line up. But you can just move them back and forth, you know, and then they'll all line up. But speaking of lining up, I gotta have a drink of coffee real quick. So anyhow, speaking of lining up, a lot of people have a question of like if they're going to import their own tracks into Ableton. You know, say you're a cover band, but you also have your own band, your own stems. So you go to a studio and they knock off stems for you. The main thing is you want it when you render out the stems from your DAW, like Pro Tools or whatever. You just want to make sure all the stems are the same length. And that you write the BPM down to whatever BPM you played a click to. So if your song is at, well, let me just call up a song here real quick. we'll take 24K Magic right here. So like 24K Magic is at 107 BPM. Just make sure when your engineer exports your stems that he gives you the BPM of that stems, and then make sure they're all come off at the same length. And if you can export a click track, that's even better, because then you can have something to line up to a grid, which I'll show you how to do that in a second. Someone has a question.
We have a question.
What's the
and
question?
the answer is not no, but that's Victor's alert. Okay, so Lawrence wants to know, how can we fatten up horn parts?
Now, there's a couple different ways. One, if you're in your horn area. Okay, real quick. So if you want to add more tracks going out to your right, you can add multiple tracks. Just click on here and click on Create, and click on Audio, Insert Audio Track, and then you can call this like Horns 2, right? I'll just call it H2 for right now because I want to make this quick. And you can just keep adding more and more, and then as long as you keep this setup, the first initial tracks the same way. If you do get more tracks from us and paste them in, they'll paste right in, and they won't interrupt these other tracks. So you can just add as many of these other tracks as you want. And I just hit, all I did is I added one, and then I just hit Command D on a Mac. On a PC, I have no idea, but that's duplicate. But say on right here, let me find a track with horns. Hold on. Bear with me. No, that's not horns. That's guitar. I don't think I have any on this actual section with horns, but I'm just going to grab a track and show you how to do it. So anyhow, as you all know, that's like I'm Southern or something, but so this is basically where the horns would be located, is in the horns line. We're going to just take this Billy Joel song right here and double click on that and see what's on this track.
Are we talking about horns now?
Yeah, but I don't have any horns on this track, so I'm going to take this guitar track and show you how to do that. It'd be the same kind of thing. So anyhow, you just keep, you just add another track over here, because you don't want, if you add an EQ on this track, it's going to EQ every single thing on that track. And you can automate it, but you're better off just going, okay, I have a certain set of horns and I want them to have a fatter EQ. So what I would do is I would just take this horns off of this track, add another track, move those horns over to the new horns track that you want it to be fatter on. Double click on that, it's blank down here. Then you can go over and say,
Intro.
you know what, let me find something with horns on it real quick. Africa. Actually, here, I'll take this track from Africa and just drop it in here. That should be horns. Still guitar. Okay. Hold on. Bear with me. Name a song that has horns in it.
You mean one of the pre-mates?
Yeah.
Doesn't 24K Magic have horns?
Does it?
Sure.
No. Hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to find a song with horns that I have already over here in this section. Let's see what this one has horns. Well, anyhow, okay, we'll use that. Okay, so say if I wanted to fatten up this, basically what you do is you grab it from the section over here, add a new track, and this is going to be, we're going to call this fat horns. So I'll call it fat horns. Right, so this is going to be our track that we're going to move all of our horns to, that's going to fatten it up. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to hit play here, and let that play out. Turn the warp off. Then I grab an EQ, bring it down here. You just drag it over here and drag it on the fat horns track. Boom, so now you have an EQ. Now you can just go through and EQ it the way you want it. Maybe bring the highs in a little bit. Maybe slap a compressor on there too. Put the compressor in front of the EQ though. So you have the compressor over there, and it's going to bring the hold on. That compressor was just barely hitting a little bit there. You can see that's way fatter than it was before. So if I turn this off, you know, but you can just mess around with any of the plugins. You can even go through and get, you know, and add an amplifier in there if you want. But you can just go over here and just reach on your audio effects and just, you know, mess around with plugins like you would be in the studio. You know, mainly EQ and compressor is probably going to be your best answer.
Just to let you know, our friend Russ, you know, he was having trouble getting on. The link that had been sent out, it says video unavailable when you click on that link. I sent him the right link, and he got in. But I'm wondering why that link wasn't right. Did you have to start over?
No.
Okay. We'll figure that out later. We have another question.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's bring it back over so you can see Alicia over there.
This question from Original Recipe Dan.
Midget.
How can I MIDI map the input gains on each channel to a separate fader on my Novation launch key? I've mapped one channel's input gain, but only to one fader.
So basically you're talking about the input gain.
Says, how can I MIDI map the input gains on each channel to a separate fader on my Novation launch key?
Input, you mean the output gain? What's turning up the...
MIDI map the input gains? I've mapped one channel's input gain, but only to one fader.
Oh, well, no, first off, if you're talking about your sliders here, your gain sliders, you don't want to, when you're playing a show, I'll show you how to do that too, but when you're playing a show, that's not how you really want. You're getting your basic mix. For your basic mix, that's how you would fine-tune mixes, but for your basic mix, you know, you want to watch the get started videos, because that'll kind of show you here, like say if like this keyboard was a little bit low all the time, instead of trying to move this, because you'll be fighting this thing all night long.
He said yes, he meant the output gain.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And then because you'll be fighting this thing all night long, what you do is you click on that, come over here and you just change your gain here, and kind of get that at the set you want for every show, you know. And you do that to each song. So you're playing the song, and you just kind of get a basic mix, set up in a room, get a basic mix by your changing your gain here, or you can go through and automate it. But I wouldn't. I would just change the gain here. If you need to get, if you want to just like what he's saying, MIDI map them to a controller, and that way, like when you're playing, even though you've already set your volumes of what they should be, without having to play with these, you know, you kind of got your. Whoops, let me come back over here. I didn't realize I wasn't on. Sorry guys, there I am. So okay, so on your faders here, backing up a little bit, to get your basic mix, I go set up in a room and just play a track like your track here. Let me keep them.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
And like say, like I want this keyboard to always be a little hotter. Just double click on that. Go over here, your gain right here on the bottom, and just bring that up a little bit, or bring it down wherever you want it. Find out where you want it at. And these are going to be your volumes of where your tracks are always going to be at. But then when you're playing live and you're like, okay, I need to bring the keyboard up here, and it's not really working with the mix I already did. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to how you MIDI map that to a controller is, let me bring my camera over here and reset my camera so I can show you my controller.
Your cameras are set right now? They couldn't see you and your screen. Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. They couldn't. I wasn't. I didn't have the screen on right. Oops. Let me go here and make sure. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. All right. Okay, so I'm going to MIDI map them to these knobs. I know you have faders, but I have knobs, and I'll switch this over here just so you can see which one I'm talking about. Why is my camera off? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna switch this over to here. I'm gonna MIDI map it to these knobs right here. I know you probably have faders on your guys' things, but I'm just gonna MIDI map them to these knobs. And let me go back to my screen here. Camera 2 is gone, I guess. Okay, so anyhow, on Ableton, you want to do is you want to go to Live and Preferences, and click onto your to your MIDI right here, and then find your board, your controller. If you don't have it, if your board's not listed in there, then just basically, Ableton's usually pretty good about just realizing there's a board hooked up, but you can also just click on none, and then come over here, and it'll show you what's hooked up to your USB. And so like, it didn't have the presets already set in here for control services because it's some weird off-name brand, but Ableton will already see it here, and I'll be like, okay, I want this to be my Axiom 24, my Axiom 25, input, and I'll do output there. And then just come over here to your input and output, and it's usually you'd want, tracks and remote, but just have them all on. It doesn't make any difference. And then, now that you have them all on, now you can come over here, and I'm going to click on this little MIDI up here at the top right-hand corner. That is going to bring all of your mapping up. And then you'll come over here and just click on a fader. So let me start way over here on count in. So I want this count in right here. Just click on the actual fader part of it right there, and then just reach over and turn a knob on your controller, and I can see that just turned to 72 on there. So that one's mapped to that knob. I'm going to go over here and click on the next one, and I'm going to move the next controller. That one's now mapped to MIDI note 20. I'm going to go to the next one, click on that one, hit the next controller. You see that one's mapped to 1.8, I guess, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to go down the line, click on the controller, or click on the fader, and then turn it 22. Click on the next one, turn it, so on. Next one, turn it. Next one, turn it. Next one, turn it. That's all the knobs I have, but you get the point. Then turn MIDI off. Now if I go over here and back here to camera 1, if I go over here and I move the knob up and down, whoops, and then I'm going to go back over here and show you what it's doing on Ableton. Okay, so I'm moving my controller knob, and if you look at the count in right here, I'm going to move my mouse up here so you know it's not my mouse. Now you can see it's moving that one. Track next to it, I'll move the next knob over. It's doing that one. Let me know if my mic keeps cutting out because it's sounding weird in my monitors. And then so on and so forth. I'll go to the next one and move that one. Next one, move that one. Next one. And that too. All right, so I hope that helps you out. Bring this up here. Back to where. But I'll show you another trick too. Am I only getting one signal? Hold on. Check, 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 check. Okay, hold on 1 second. I just gotta change out my mic. Get my ears back in. You guys, are hearing that? That's weird. Check. Hold on 1 second. Still doing some weird. That's my controller. That's funny. All right. Sorry guys. Like I said, I'm still new to this live streaming thing, so there we go. For some reason my MIDI mapping actually moved to the input for the Antimus. Anyhow, so hope did that answer his question as far as mapping stuff?
I asked him in chat. I don't know yet.
Okay, he might be a little bit late getting
Might
over
be
there.
delayed.
Yeah, but you know, I wanted to show you something real quick. This is how you MIDI map if you want to go up and down on stuff. So say you want to.
I'm going to cut you off.
Okay.
Because we have a question from Russ.
Uh-huh.
With your tracks, how can you add markers to be able to loop sections during live performance?
Now, that is a long video. You can't add markers in Ableton. You got to use a program called Follow, and then you actually gotta cut them up and go verse, chorus, bridge, and that kind of thing. I do have a whole video on that on the how-to page on the website, on the tutorial page. You just look for the one that says Follow, and it's a plugin, and you'll have to have Ableton Suite because it's got to have oh god, I can't remember what it's called. If you watch that video, it'll explain it to you. But yeah, you can do that, but that's how you would have to do it. Now just to kind of answer your question too, we don't like when we use Ableton. I set my tracks up like this, but like when we play live, we don't actually play on this screen, and that's we actually play on this screen over here. Even though I keep all my tracks on this screen. But then I actually go through and I build my set. If I go over here and click on I don't need this track anymore. I'll get rid of that track. But if I click on the last track on this, on say Billy Joel line, and then I come back over here and hold Shift down and click on that on the count in, and then hold them all down and hit Tab, and switch them back over. And I make sure that I drop that first one on the count in line, because that way it lines all my tracks back up, and then you hit this little gray play button and then it'll activate this side. And then you have to go through and automate your tempo down here at the bottom, which is kind of a long video. I wouldn't really get into that right now, but there's a how-to video in the course. What's
so
that?
Russ said, are you laying out the songs in advance to use that other screen live?
That's what I do. And then basically what I do is I go through and I'll put in you and that button. I'm gonna no. Anyhow, I put them all over here in this screen when we play live, and then you have to go through and you have to automate your tempo for each song. But basically, I lay them out like this, and you know, and automate the tempo there, and then I automate the tempo for this song, and I lay them out. And actually, you can actually then, you know, bump them, you know, right up next to each other, or even take the 4 count out and just lay them right on, so they just go from song to song. You have to kind of mess with it. It takes a while to set up, but then when you're mixing them, you can actually just go through and automate each track by just going, you know, just pulling up your automation tab, and then automating it. But that's a whole longer video. But that's basically what we do, is we run it like that, and then with that in line, then you have actually a little looper right here, and this right here will set your loop marker. Now, unfortunately, there's only one, but you can move it, you know, per set or per song if you know where someone's at, because you can add little markers here, like say, okay, I want to loop this section and to this section, you know, so your keyboard player can be like, okay, that's here's loop 1, I want to loop this, and then, you know, on, you know, 2 songs later, you can say, okay, then you got to move that loop marker to here sometime when we're talking. And basically, when it comes to here, as long as this little thing's on, and when it hits your loop section, I'm still answering that question. So yeah, when it hits that loop section, it'll just keep looping this section until you reach up and turn that off. And you can MIDI map that too. So that's how we actually do it, because in this section you can actually play videos and have videos go out on your monitors, and there's just a lot more you can do. Also, you don't got to hit play all the time. We hit play and it plays our whole show until we stop, because we don't have any dead air in the show. It's all mapped out exactly how it is. What's the next?
Okay, so circling back to Dan, that output question.
Yeah.
He said yes, but if I adjust the volume on a channel this way, it will transfer to the next song, correct?
Yeah. If you're over here on your output, that's why when I set my stuff up, I don't ever touch these. I leave all this volume. Excuse me. I leave all the faders right where they're at, and I adjust them by clips. So we practice, and then when we practice, I double clip on a clip and I adjust this one clip. So that one clip, I need that one clip a little hotter, you know, during practice, because, you know, when you're in practice, you can kind of get a basic idea of how the song should sound overall, and then all your sound guys doing is just basically having the master volume. So you have your 1 and 2 out, you know, if they're doing it that way, and your master guys might have to bump it up, might have to bump the whole thing up, you know, live, you know, be like, okay, well, actually all the tracks need to come up for this song, but now they're all up, but they've already been mixed because you mixed them here. And you can go into, so if I'm on here and say, like, you know, in this part of the track, I needed to get, you know, I like this part at the volume it's at, but here I need to get a little hotter. Then all you have to do is go over here and click on this, right on the very far left corner, click on there, and it pulls up your automation window. So you can see here's your mixer volume automation. So now I can go through, okay, so right here I want to just bring this up, but right here I want to keep that same volume. And here's that. I want to bring it up here, bring it down here, you know, bring it back up here. So, but that's not for the track. That's only for this one bass clip. So if I play this, and then if you can see, if I click on the Pearl Jam bass underneath it, the automation hasn't been moved. So if I'm playing, play that bass clip, just so you can kind of hear it. You can see that the little red dot on there means automation's happening. Now watch that fader. You can see it barely moving, but if I make it, I can make it really drastic so you can see it. But yeah, that's how you automate, and you mix it per clip and not actually per song. That way, you never touch these faders at all. You basically get a good mix when you're practicing. You know where the mix is going to be at by just either automating or just clicking on the clip and adjusting the gain right here of that clip. And then you leave these faders alone, and then you just basically have it up and down.
I think that goes back to Dan's next question, which is, I thought that you said for live performances not to mess with those faders, that it was better to adjust the underlying gain for the stem. Correct?
That's what I was just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you were just saying.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Dan?
Now remember, this is a little bit late on getting to you because we're live, and when we say something, I'm watching the feed. That's freaking me out because it's like a minute later it comes to you guys. So it's not really live. It's almost live, but yeah, no, it's weird. Like I'm still messing with my mic on there. Anyhow, so where were we at?
So you're saying don't mess with the faders, right?
I would say as a rule, don't mess with the fader. I mean, map it, like if you have a certain fader, like that you're, say you're a keyboard player and you want to map the keyboard or something there, then I could see doing that. But as a rule, I would go into the practice room with the whole band, get it mixed.
Well, wait, you want to map the keyboard or something like that, you can do that. But
yeah, I would say if you want to, map one, just to bring it up or down or whatever, you can. You can map the whole thing, but you're going to be fighting that mix all night long, because
if you map the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if you start playing with it, your best bet is to go into a studio with the band, spend a couple days getting that mix sounding good. Because if you're in one room and you have it sounding good, the mix of your backing track sounding good the way you want in that room. When you go play live, 99.99% of the time, it's, even though the room's different and that kind of stuff, the tracks that you guys are actually playing to are going to sound fine. It's just about basically mixing the band around those tracks. So after you get them sounding the way you want them in a practice room, then it's just basically getting the band mixed around those tracks. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, he original recipe Dan. He says, yes, thank you. I was looking to MIDI map the clip gain, and he said perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
Yay, Dan!
Yeah, I would definitely stay as far away from MIDI mapping those as possible. Just and MIDI mapping the clip gain. Wow, you need a big controller for that, because that would be a clip gain for every. Yeah. My best bet is to get a sound guy, and then you can actually get a bigger sound card with more outs, and then basically what you can do is go to your outputs right here, and instead of master. So the sound card I have on this computer right now only has 2 outs, but if I had a bigger sound card with like 16 outs or 8 outs even, then when I go up here to live and preferences, and I go to audio and I click output configuration, right here you would see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on and so forth, and they'd all be grayed out. Just turn them all on, and then they'll all show up in your output right here. So you do is just take each track, so your guitar track, you'd change that instead of master, which master means it's just sent to the master bus, which this is your master bus right here. So instead of changing to master, you just go to external out, and then it gives you a place to where you can reroute that to your sound card. So like I said, right now I only have a stereo sound card, so I only have 2, but if you had 8 or 16, it would show 8 or 16, and then you just click on, okay, I want that to come out output 1, I want this one to come out external out, I want this one to come out output 2, this one external out, I would have this one go out output 3, so on and so forth, and then you just run the outputs right to your sound guy, and your sound guy could actually do them that way. Or you get your own, get like like an X32, or not X32, but XR18, which is 18, and which is the sound card. Like if you look at my videos, well, in my master class, I don't know if you took the master class, but you'll see I have it set up with an XR18. And that you can actually run everything off an iPad, which works pretty good. But mainly I would get into a studio, practice the band, get your levels set before you play out anywhere, and your headaches are going to be over. You're not going to, if you have all your levels set in your practice area, then your sound guy or you might have to take all of your tracks and bring them up or down a little bit. But if you just try to go out and play the set, you're going to be fighting a mix all night long. Best bet, take 2 or 3 days, go into a studio, pound them out, click save, and it's saved. Every time you go out and play a show, it's going to be the same mix each time.
Nice. Okay, circling back to Russ, I think Russ is still here. You guys were talking about laying out in advance, the songs in advance to use that other screen live. What do you do though? He was saying they end up calling audibles a lot and they depart from their set list because they're reading the crowd, seeing what they want to hear. What do you do in that case when you can't lay it out in advance?
You can't. I mean, you can still lay it out in advance, but like say if I go back over here and I lay this out, and we do that too, but it's the same thing as over here. It is over here. The only thing is right here where you're if you have a break in a song, you just have to have someone stop it. So when they're at the end of the song, they have to hit stop, or you can MIDI map, start and stop. So at the end of the song, they hit stop, and then you just put marker points, and you can actually MIDI map these marker points. So like say this is song 2, and this song is called, I don't know, Jump by Van Halen. So Jump's going to start there. So you can actually, when they get to the end of this song stop, leave a bunch of dead air or whatever, and then just basically you have a marker for, you just hit next, or whoever's running the thing can just reach over there and see the names of the song, and then just click on the marker for Jump, hit start, or MIDI map that, and go. But also you can also look at the follow tutorial, and you can play it off this. And with follow, basically what it'll do is you have to cut up your verse and bridge and chorus and that kind of stuff. It's not that hard. It's time consuming, but after you do it once, it's done. And then you put the follow plug in, and then it'll go from verse, bridge, chorus, and then you can actually just MIDI map the follow plug in, and it'll jump back up to the bridge, or it'll loop a section until you tell it not to loop. But that's all. That follow tutorial is on the on the tutorial section of the website, and it'll show you how to do that, and that works good too. The others, the way over here, that's just how we do it. But we're also an original band, so our set, like we know when we jump on stage, we have a 45-minute set, and we actually have a 45-minute set. When we click go, it's 45 minutes and it's done. So a booker can't be like, I'm sorry, you guys played too long, because there ain't no way it's happening. We can actually show them this is 45 minutes. But so our thing's a little different. Now when we move to Vegas, we do some kind of a, what do they call that? It's not jazz. It's what do we call our mid mods?
Noir.
Not noir. It's not jazz. It's not acid jazz. What do you
mod?
call it? No, I don't know. Anyhow, we have this. It's kind of a jazzy thing. It's
it's jazz but not jazz.
It's kind of a funky jazz thing that we do, just because you could
definitely not traditional jazz,
yeah.
But it's modern.
Yeah, because covers in Vegas you can get like $2,500, $3,000 a night for just 2 people set up in a bar. It's ridiculous. So we're like, we'll do that. Anyhow, but we play it in this mode, and we don't loop. You can also, if you just want to extend a solo and you don't want to actually do follow, but you kind of know, okay, I want it to be X amount longer, you can actually just go in and let me get rid of all this stuff here. And I'll just I'll take this Pearl Jam. Let me get solo off here.
I'm taking a bathroom break.
Okay. Wait. So I can, and I'll just click on these, move them over here, line them up. And you want to click on the song to make sure that Ableton knows that the song is that tempo. Let me put these back on master. move this down to where I don't have all those markers. But like say if I just want this section right here to be longer, let's say, for shits and giggles, let's see.
There's something wrong, she said. Of course there is. You're still alive, she said. Oh, do I deserve to be? Is that the question? And it's so.
So I don't know if this song lines up in the grid. It does not. So this song does not line up on the grid, as you can see. So you'd have to do, I'm going to actually show you what you have to do is basically turn the grid off and bring out these click. So say we just want to loop, you know, basically this much of the song, right? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from here and keep my count in. Move this up here so I can use this as a marker. I'll move it back after I'm done. Scroll this out, and it's a lot easier if the songs line up on the grid. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut a piece of that out. Just hit Command X, cut it out, and get rid of that, and then paste this back here for later use. Stretch it out so I can find it. And then I'm grab this other one that I just cut out, paste it back here because that's the part I want to loop. So, actually no, I'm not. It's not the part I want to loop. I want to loop. First few quarter notes. So, hold on. Bear with me. Let me undo that. I messed that up. Bad. There we go. All right. So say we actually want to loop these two measures. So what I'm going to do is basically cut these out. It's hard when they're not on the grid, so, and then I'm going to put them back. And make sure they're still buttoned up. And if they were on the grid, this would just, you wouldn't have to do this, but I have to eye it because these songs aren't lined up on the grid. So I'm going to loop these two quarter notes. So I'm going to make sure that ends right on the 1. I'll bring these back down before the 1, which is right there. And I'm going to click all of these and click duplicate. And now I just loop that. And like I said, these were grid. This would be so much easier. But if I loop it, and I just kill that. Oh, there you go. So I just loop that section. So now you got a lot longer guitar solo or whatever you want, and then stretch the rest of this out. Sorry, it's going to play that because I'm... So I brought the song back in, but now you have all these cuts, you can't move it back over. But if you click on the top piece, now that you have the loop however long you want it, you know, and then I'll go back. But now you want to link these all back together. So basically just click on the far right one, or yeah, go all the way down the bottom and click on the bottom far left. It highlights them all, and then just go up to a little bar where the names are at. That's the easiest place. And if you right click on your mouse, or if you go to edit and consolidate, but I usually just right click right here and I just go here to consolidate. And I click consolidate. Now it's going to join all those clips together, and then we can move them back. So now you have a song with a lot longer loop. I hope that makes sense. That was kind of a long-winded discussion. So.
Okay. If anyone has any more questions, we can answer them, or we can. It's almost 7, and when will you be on again?
You know, we have to go to the Bay Area for about a week and a half, and I do kind of want to make this at least a once-a-month thing. So I am going to schedule it out, and I'll email everyone, and also post it on here. At least have it at least once a month when I'm doing live, and I'm going to start getting a lot more tutorial. I mean, not tutorials, but actual tutorials up on this channel, and also our Fans of Jimmy Central channel. Also, if you haven't checked out our band yet, go to youtube.com/FOJCTV. We put that link in the chat, and that's our band's channel, and you can see us at our amazing gloriness. No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyhow, but I'm gonna have some more actually production tutorials too on here for not just Ableton. I'm gonna be doing some. I'm a big Reason fanatic. Most of our songs that we produce, even which people are surprised because the song that we actually got nominated for a Grammy for was solely produced in Reason, and I'm a Reason freak. So, and everyone's like, well, you don't use Pro Tools, and it's like, yeah, I started out in Pro Tools, but I prefer Ableton and Reason and over any of that stuff anymore, just because they're just faster, easier DAWs. And Pro Tools was kind of a old DAW that they just kept throwing stuff at, so it runs really slow and sluggish. So I still use Pro Tools, but I will probably never do a tutorial on them because it's just not my DAW I use anymore. But yeah, after this consolidated real quick, then now they're all highlight. If they're not all highlight, let me put the click back where the click should be at. Then just click on the top one, go to the bottom one, hit Shift, highlight them all, go back up the top, count in, and hold that down, hit the tab button, and then drag it over, and then drop it right in your count in line. And then of course you want to name this, you know, with the correct BPM or the name of the song. I don't even know what song this is, but I know the BPM is 152, so 152, 52 BPM, and that way if you click on it, it'll change to the right BPM. So I'll click on it. 152. And now you have that loop. One thing I want to show you guys real quick before I take off, because I get a lot of questions about this. How do you map a key on your keyboard or a foot switch on your pedal board or whatever to move this up or down songs and then press play and that kind of stuff without having to use your keyboard, your actual MacBook. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So on your keyboard, say we want the start button to be start on, because I have start, play, play, stop, and reverse and rewind. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the play to start, play a song, and then the fast forward and reverse to go up and down, like this. So to do that, and you can use that with a foot pedal. Anything that's MIDI that's plugged in, you can map whatever button you want to whatever you want on Ableton. So basically what you're going to do is you can go up here and click on MIDI up the top right, and then as soon as you click on MIDI, you're going to see these little, let me clear this. Sorry. Go away. Edit. Why is it not you? There we go. Delete map. Delete map. Should have these all done before you. All right. So as soon as I click on MIDI now that I have it deleted, you'll see these little arrows and up and down arrows and a play button that you didn't see before. And so if I take MIDI away, they're gone. If I click on MIDI, they're there. So now all you do is basically I want this down arrow to go to my fast forward button, and then I clicked on that, changed it to MIDI note number 2. And if I click on the up, I want that to go to my rewind button, and that changed that to MIDI note number 8. And if I click on the play button, not this play button up here, but this play button, if I click on this play button and I hit that, and that changed to MIDI note number 9. Then the stop button, I'm just going to MIDI map that to my stop, but I already have it MIDI mapped to 7. All right, then you take these off, and now if I click on the top song, I can actually go. I have to press my thing kind of hard, but if I press the fast forward, it goes down. If I press the rewind, it goes up, and then if I click on this play button, it's going to play the wrong song because it just doesn't work that way. You have to click on the play button down here. But now that I map this to this play button down here, it'll play the right song. So I can go up and down here and then press play. And you can see it's playing. Whoops. Well, it's supposed to be playing. Let me try that again. There we go. Sorry.
Intro 2, 3.
And if I go back up or down like 8, 6, 7, 5. Whoops. Oh, I had that mapped wrong. Sorry. Let me go back and remap that. Replay. Why is that doing that? Sorry, my map, because this thing's on that live stream, this is actually mapped to this too, and it's having troubles. But you basically get the idea. When I hit play, that will actually press play if it wasn't mapped to 2 different things on my computer. But doing the live stream, I have 2 different things mapped to it. But that's how you get to that map. When you click on the MIDI map, right here, I'll delete this. This is your down, which brings you down the stream. This is up, which takes you up, and this is the play that will, whichever one is down or up that's highlighted, this will actually start playing that. And you only see this when the MIDI's enabled. And then take it off and it's set that way. Save your thing, it'll always be set that way. So if you plug in a Line 6 pedal board. And I get more in depth in that into the masterclass, which is a link in the description too, and it's pretty cheap on Udemy. If you guys aren't already on the masterclass, I have that whole mapping thing on there. But anyhow, I think that's going to be it for tonight. And thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with us. And hopefully we'll get this going and at least do it like once a month or something like that. And but I'll have a time schedule set up. But this is my first dry run at my new gear.
And yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. The reason that some of the email, some of our list and our friends and clients couldn't get in, there was one letter missing from the link in the email. So that's why that YouTube link did not work.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. That was my bad. She usually does everything, and the cameras that goes on her died, so I can't show her.
You can't show me bragging.
There we go. I'll bring her around. There she is.
You can't show me bragging that I always get it right, and he left out one letter in the email, so you couldn't get in. Yeah. So that was on him.
Because she does that all the time.
We're not going to do that again.
She fixes.
Right?
No. She fixes. She
Next time I will do the email, and you will be able to get in. So, but thank you to those of you that have been watching.
Yeah.
I don't know how you found it.
No. I mean, it's on the channel, but yeah, thank you guys. And wow, that sucks. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you click like and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and go over to our band channel, you guys, and we'll have some interesting things going on over there too as well. Yeah. And at least you put that in the description. It's in the description and also in a link on the chat. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being our clients and or students or whatever, or just stopping by. And if you 1, 2, 3, later. All right, guys. It's gonna take me a while to figure out how to shut this off because I haven't live streamed before. But thanks a lot for stopping by. We'll see you guys next time.